After another wild week in the NFL, there might only be like 5 good football teams. We'll break down our power rankings right after this. All right, welcome back to the Week 9 edition of the GG Sports Podcast NFL Power Rankings.
Let's go.
Again, like I said in the precursor, there's still a big question about what teams are good, what teams aren't, but we try our best to lay them out in our power rankings this week to the best of our abilities.
Yes. Another week where some of the people that we had continue rising on our list had bad losses just for them to drop again, and we have other teams that kind of slowly were dropping, and all of a sudden they have good wins. And you have to consider the trade deadline a little bit. Some teams did get better, I believe, because of that, and I think it will show a little bit in our power rankings. And let's jump right into this.
Yeah.
Before we get too far, though, I want to thank everybody for watching GG Sports Podcast. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, get notifications for our videos.
But one team that did not get better and is what we thought they were, the Houston Texans. They check at number 32. Number 31, you have the Detroit Lions down from 29. Number 30, the Carolina Panthers.
Before we move on too far, the Lions get to go down because they are 1-6. They actually have the worst record, but they also gave away their best player in TJ Hawkinson within the division, aka to us. So we got to mention that.
Yeah, right. Carolina could be a lot higher if they can make their kicks, and because had they beat Atlanta, they'd be in the top of their division, which would have gotten them up a few more spots. But since they didn't, here they sit at 30. They kept a lot of their star players, which I thought was kind of weird. But I guess they're going for that competitive rebuild like the Vikings did. We'll see how that works out for them. I'm not really sure. Number 29, the Chicago Bears. Number 28, the Steelers trying their best. What they got, they traded away Chase Claypool this week, which is kind of strange. I mean, I get it to an extent with the way George Pickens came on, but It is what it is. Number 27, the Jaguars. We were high on them for a while, but man, they kind of came back down to being what they were. But with Kelvin Ridley in the fold next year, they could be a danger. They could be.
They got a steal on that. Like, wait 1 year for a guy that isn't out because of injury. He's out because of the stupid gambling thing, and he comes back and he's like a top 10 wide receiver. And now you got him for I think they got him for like a 4th round pick and like a 7th round pick or something stupid. Why didn't I would have done that?
Yeah. Number 26, the Sam Ehlinger led Colts. Number 25, the soon to be 3-5 Washington Commanders. The Packers dropping from 23 to 24. Now the Packers, it was a roller coaster week for them because first off, Buffalo, they were all down in the dumps. We're going to get blown out in this game. They actually held their own against Buffalo. They found a formula that everybody, including many Packers fans that I've seen, were telling them from the get-go, and that's run the football because you don't have receivers. So, maybe we thought the Packers, oh God, they might be turning it around. They're getting up here. Aaron Rodgers throwing to some of those rookies. And then the trade deadline comes. They don't make a move and everybody's just down in the dumps again. So thus is the life of the Green Bay Packers when you're paying Aaron Rodgers $50 million a year to hand the ball off to his 2 running backs.
Yep. Yeah.
Crazy. Number 23, you got the Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb is an absolute dynamite animal. Number 22, you have the Las Vegas Raiders. They're starting to look not very good over there. 21, the Arizona Cardinals. Can't drop them too much after a loss to the Vikings because, the Vikings are pretty goddamn good. Number 20, you have the Colts beating the Jags in London. Nope, not the Colts, the Broncos. Sorry, the horses screwing me up here. Number 19, you have the New Orleans Saints. Number 18, the Atlanta Falcons, division-leading Atlanta Falcons, by the way. That's pretty insane. 17, Tampa, just because we have a feeling
at all, but
we have a feeling that they'll still turn it around. I don't know. Maybe now that Tom Brady's finally divorced, he can get that off his mind and just start playing ball. You might have to start doing that if they want to turn around. This team is way too talented to be as bad as they are this year.
Right.
Number 16, the New England Patriots bring Mac Jones back in. They pick up a dub. Number 15, the New York Jets coming off a loss. Number 14, the LA Rams. This team is a mess right now.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about them. Number 13, you have the Chargers. We'll see what happens after their bye week. Number 12, the surprising Seattle Seahawks. I thought Seattle was going to be absolute garbage this year, and they're actually looking pretty good over there. Geno Smith.
We had him like a 31st freaking ranked player at the beginning of this, something like that.
And they're going to get a really good pick from Denver at this point too, from the looks
Yep.
of it. So,
Yep.
but Geno Smith, got to give the man credit, playing really good football.
Definitely.
DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett both playing injured, both scored. So got some good receivers there. And number 11, you have the New York Giants. The winning streak was broken by Seattle. So still 6-2, still looking pretty good under Brian Daboll. We'll see what happens with this team. Anyway, let's move into our top 10. At number 10, you have the Cincinnati Bengals coming off their loss to Cleveland. Some people thought maybe they wouldn't miss Jamar Chase that much. They're definitely missing Jamar Chase. T. Higgins needs to adjust to being the number one receiver. He hasn't quite done that yet. Tyler Boyd still played consistently. They don't get the running game going as much as they should right away, mainly because they have bad offensive line. But I don't know, man. This Bengals team it's weird.
Yeah, it comes right off from all starts with their offensive line. Their offensive line is terrible, especially which is funny, especially because they've spent a lot of time in the offseason and money and all that stuff to revamp it. But no, I mean, the Bengals came along strong of recent weeks, especially because of Jamar Chase's play. And then he's gone, and obviously you're going to miss him big time. This game, though, I do blame mostly on the offensive line because it was seriously terrible. But this was just reminded you of the Bengals from the beginning of the season again. So for their sake, hopefully, it doesn't keep rolling that way where the offensive line just stops guarding.
Yeah,
and they get absolutely blown up by a Browns team that's not that great, but they got a really good player in Myles Garrett. So.
Definitely. Number 9, you have the Tennessee Titans. After their 0-2 start, they've rattled off 5 straight now. Are they 5-2? Something like that. 6-2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously doing it all off the legs of Derrick Henry as they have done in years
Big
past.
Time.
Defense is playing solid. So yeah, Tennessee. They might win this division by default because nobody else wants it. So.
Yep. Oh, what a freaking interesting team. Malik Willis got his first start. 55 yards passing the entire
6
game
or something like that.
Yeah, 6 for 10, 50 yards passing, an interception. They won 17-10 against not a good Houston's team, but obviously with their quarterback injured, and Derrick Henry, 32 carries for 219 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Hillard with 8 carries for 83 yards. So they had over 300 overall yards rushing. Like, that's so crazy. It's kind of like your one job is to stop Derrick Henry in this game. That's all you got. I mean, that's a big task. Don't get me wrong, but it's still like just stopping your run. All you have to do is stop the run in this game.
For
and,
sure.
They can't do it, but
couldn't do it. Moving on, number 8, the Miami Dolphins with Tua back in there. They're looking like the team we thought they were.
Right.
Put Bradley Chubb on that defense. So I saw the stat, or not a stat, so I don't know what you'd even call it. I saw something on Facebook where they said that the 3 picks that they got from the 49ers turned into Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Bradley Chubb.
What were that was the trade?
That was a Trey Lance trade. Yep.
Trey Lance trade. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. That's
so
crazy.
when those 3 picks can turn into those 3 players, easy W. Easy. I mean, they're gonna have to pay Bradley Chubb a lot of money, but wow.
I respect the Dolphins big time here. Just like the Vikes coming in and trading for TJ Hawkinson, knowing like they want to make our team better. I got to give the same respect to the Dolphins and their upper management to go out and, you get Tua back, how your team can play with Tua, and then you go and get a guy like Bradley Chubb, who's been a beast this year. So I'm liking what Dolphins are headed in this direction. I think they're going to continue going up this list again.
For sure. Number 7, you have the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are looking pretty solid. The running game's working for them. They're a little short on receivers, but Isaiah Likely stepped up big at tight end this last week. Lamar Jackson is still very up and down. Obviously, just what he can do with his legs saves him a lot. We still don't see the consistency in the passing game with him, but if as long as he keeps that athleticism, doesn't get hurt. Baltimore's a dangerous team. Got a lot of pieces on that defense as well. So they just traded for Roquan Smith too. So watch out. I do like this Baltimore team. Again, I'm a huge fan of John Harbaugh, and unfortunately, the Vikings could not pull off a trade for Justin Tucker, which is kind of unfortunate. But what do you do?
Were they? Oh
no.
Oh, okay. No. Like, wait, what? Is there rumors? I would have gave the house for him.
Yeah, no.
I know that's one interesting piece. Is that whole situation with I mean, we'll probably talk about it in some video coming up, but
Yeah.
what's his face?
Anyway, moving on, number 6, you have
now.
the San Francisco 49ers. With Christian McCaffrey, this offense is something
dynamic,
else, man. Yeah.
And without Debo last week. So it's like, man, with both of them, two of arguably the most dynamic players, offensive players in the NFL. Obviously, especially McCaffrey, who threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown, and caught a touchdown.
And they said that was the first time that's happened in how long?
I don't know. I never
it
actually.
was a long time.
I was wondering that too. I was like, that doesn't happen. Obviously, that doesn't happen often.
No,
I was like,
they talked about it during the game as well. I just don't remember what the time frame was there.
Yeah,
I'm moving on. Number 5, top 5 remain unchanged from last week. The Dallas Cowboys, with Dak Prescott back in the fold, and them leaning heavily on the run game with Tony Pollard. This Dallas team is looking pretty good. Unfortunately for them, they do have to contend with the Philadelphia Eagles, but Dallas actually might be flexed soon. Next week, Minnesota Vikings, Dallas Cowboys. It's sounded like it might be flexed Sunday Night Football. I kind of hope not. No, not this upcoming week, but the week after.
Yeah.
So, or no, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now would be.
Yeah,
they would announce it on Monday. So, but yeah, Dallas is looking pretty solid over there.
Definitely. I mean, they destroyed the Bears 49-29, and I'm just glad. One thing I can be happy for is, even though Pollard had a huge game, Jerry Jones came out and said, This is still Zeke's backfield. This is still Zeke's team, which is good for me because I have Ezekiel Elliott on my fantasy team, and I was worried. I was like, I don't want Pollard to come in and having a crazy game, and he did. And it's a good sign that they still want to put but I don't know if it's the smartest thing now, but it's good for me.
We'll see what they decide to do there. At number 4, you have the Minnesota Vikings coming off their big win against the Arizona Cardinals. 6-1, feeling pretty good. Bringing TJ Hawkinson into the fold. My favorite thing about this team, and defensive player of the week, Zadarius Smith. My favorite thing about this team is, a lot of times when a team's either 6-1 or maybe in years past under some different coaches, you're 6-1, and there's that vibe around like the locker room that we just like, they don't talk about like they don't talk about their shortcomings. We're playing well, we'll keep winning, yada yada. I like that this team everybody on the team, coaches, players, constantly says, yes, we're winning, but we can still be better. They're not resting easy. I think Kevin O'Connell, and I'm kind of, this upcoming game is going to be a little bit of a trap game against Washington, I think. And a big thing that I think we're going to be fine though, because Kevin O'Connell isn't going to let him get too high. Just the defense started looking a little better this last week. DeAndre Hopkins obviously torched them, but really the biggest question mark now is just defensive consistency, offensive consistency, and kicking consistency. Obviously those sound bad, but offense, I feel like they're really figuring it out with TJ Hawkinson. I think it's going to be even better. Defensively, like I said, they're turning around, but the kicking game is concerning a little bit. But 6-1 is 6-1, and I love it.
Yeah, 6-1, fantastic. Like you said, against Washington, I do think we're gonna have a video coming out tomorrow about that game specifically. But I think it's hard for the Vikings have to, look at themselves in the mirror or whatever and know that we can't take any team lightly in this season so far, because we've played not very good teams just to barely win. So I think we're not going to come in this game thinking we're just automatically going to win or anything like that. You're talking about your favorite things though, which that is definitely up there. But my favorite thing is just everything that's going on with us and the Packers. You brought up Zadarius Smith, and Zadarius Smith is leading the league in sacks and tackles for the loss. And all these memes are coming out how the Packers owe him like 13.5 mil or something, and we're on the books for like 3.5, something like that. And now he came over here to the division rivals to lead the league in sacks and tackles for the loss. So I love that. That's probably my favorite part of the season. That mixed with the Packers sucking, that mixed with the Packers not getting a wide receiver at the trade deadline. Screw the Packers.
So everything's good. I love it. Number 3, you got the Kansas City Chiefs coming off a bye week. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce is really kind of all the team needs, but they have other weapons on that team as well. Juju Smith-Schuster started turning it around. Defensively, they're not great, but with Patrick Mahomes, man, you're always in it.
Yeah, bye week. they still have a great team. They got Kadarius Toney in a trade. It'll be interesting to see how they use him. If he can step up and be the guy that, that people were thinking when he was a rookie and actually coming into this year where he got a lot of hype. Man, he could, if he comes in and becomes Kansas City's number one wide receiver, that could just make them way more dangerous,
Yeah, for
so it'll
sure.
be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Moving
to
on,
see that.
number two, moving on to number two, the only undefeated team in the NFL still, the Philadelphia Eagles. AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts coming off huge games. Devontae Smith is still on that team. Defensively, they're flying around out there. Philadelphia is dangerous, man. Philadelphia is really dangerous.
Yeah, dude, they're insane. They got lucky week 2, but other than that, man, they've looked really good. It's still hard to put them again up above our number one, just because I think our number one, when this team's on the Bills, when they have their games, it's crazy. They look by far. They lost to the Miami Dolphins. That's the one thing. Otherwise, pretty much every game besides the Kansas City, they've just been blowing people out, and it wasn't even close. Or the team they were against, it didn't even like. It was just they're just dominant in a lot of their wins, and that's like a big difference between them and us right now. Is they win dominantly, and we're still waiting for pretty much our first game that we completely handled dominantly, outside of maybe week 1 against the Packers. So who knows? Maybe that first game will come against the Bills in 2 weeks.
That would be something. But man, yeah, Buffalo is just so good. Obviously they didn't play their best ball against the Packers. They actually second half, Josh Allen threw a couple un-Josh Allen like interceptions. But the fact that they still put up 27 points with the second half that they played, pretty impressive. Buffalo is just a really, really good football team, well coached, and easily, not easily, but arguably the favorite to come out of the AFC and head to the Super Bowl. So
yeah, it's between them and KC at this point, and I think obviously you still have teams like you still have the teams like Baltimore Ravens and stuff, but I think Miami is going to come back and it's going to be that 3-headed monster between them two and Miami at the end of the season. So
that'll do it for our Week 9 power rankings. Let us know what you think down in the comment section. Let us know what you would have changed, and we'll see you guys next time on the GG Sports Podcast.
Skol Vikings.